bent people. I want you to notice what Jesus says about this condition. He says in verse 11 that she had a spirit of infirmity for 18 years. Now, if you look at this, it's clearly there. I wish it wasn't, perhaps, in some cases, but when you look at it, clearly the scripture says she has a demon spirit of sickness or weakness. And if you look at verse 15 and 16, we are told that verse 16, Satan has bound her for 18 years. As far as Jesus was concerned, this woman's condition was the result of the activity of the devil. As far as Jesus was concerned, this woman was being oppressed with a spirit of infirmity for 18 long years. Now, I want you to know something about it. This woman never knew that it was the devil up till this point of time. I want you to know something about this. Jesus Christ isn't condemning this woman. He isn't saying to her, you must have done something horrible. You must have done something terrible. He's stating a fact. He's not making a judgment. He's saying, lady, you've been bound by Satan for 18 years, oppressed with a spirit, and you haven't even known it. And that's why no matter what you do, you've been unable to straighten yourself out. What do you see from this? I see this. You see, I notice that in the ministry of Jesus Christ, things that I would attribute to the physical and sometimes to the emotional, he always brings back to its real root cause, spiritual. Jesus says that the problems of mankind are not physical problems. They're not emotional problems. They're not sociological problems. They are problems of the spirit. Oh, it's so easy for us to pick up the newspaper and say, well, look what the commos are doing. It's easy for us to turn over a page and say, well, it's the economy, it's unemployment. It's so easy for us to look and say, if they didn't have all these atomic missiles pointing at us, then we would straighten up and rejoice. It's easy to look at us and say, well, it's the homosexuals and the AIDS that have spread throughout our country. Isn't it a terrible disaster and disease? Oh, we can look at it sociological. We can say our problems is because we live in this society. We can look at it and we can say, if I had better parents, if I had better education, if this country had a better government, if the dollar was more stable, we'd be better off. That's our problem. Do you know that? We tend to think of our problems in physical, sociological terms. Jesus never did that at all. Jesus never walked into a situation and said, oh, well, we've got a sociological problem. He never walked in and he said, oh, well, I know what you've got. You've got some sort of magnificent medical Latin term. He says, go and see the chiropractor. As far as Jesus was concerned, all problems found their root cause in a spiritual deficiency. I want you to understand the Bible presents that picture very clearly, because it says all of the problems of mankind, all of the conflicts, all of the disease, all of the sickness, all of the trouble, all emotional disorder, all conflict is caused because of sin. Yes, the Bible reduces it to a simple thing: sin. When man fell and lost his relationship with God in the garden, sin entered into the world.